Alright, what's going on, guys? This is Qdz. Welcome to another video. Today I'm going to teach you all how to make particles, and I'm also going to do a smoke tutorial because a lot of people don't know how to do smoke. So I guess let's start off with the smoke because it's, in my opinion, the simplest thing. So what I use for my smoke in particular, we're going to go to the particles per second tab, change this to 16,000, go out to 1 second, and then change this to 0. Go to your position X and Y, change this to 0, 0. What I do here to cut it to 1 second, I'm going to click Alt and then I'm going to click left square bracket and move this all over. Then Alt right click bracket, or right square bracket. So you're going to have this, and it's going to be like, what the heck? But that's fine. Box, we're going to go down here, change this to 5,000, 5,000, 5,000. It's going to be a lot of particles, but that's okay. Change the life to 20, change the size to 150, and then change the opacity to 1.2, or a number like 1.3. I prefer like a little bit, something like this. No, something not in between 1 or 2, because 1 is a little bit too dark, and then 2 is a little bit too bright. Next thing you're going to want to add is a vector blur. CC vector blur like this. Go to your direction fading, change this to 150, change this to a number from 90 to maybe like 100 and something, I don't know, up to you. Revolutions, keep this at 2, map softness, change this to 30. Hit S to bring up the scale whilst on this, change this to 120. And there you go, you have smoke. So if I was to move the camera around in like X, orientation looks pretty cool. And yeah, also for those who don't know, like usually this would be a 960 by 540 if you didn't have this camera layer. So if you want to go ahead and copy these settings, it's all just 0. Everything is 0 except for this Z value in the position tab. But yeah, the simplest thing for me to when I'm testing particles in smoke. Next thing we're going to add is we're going to make new particles here. We're going to go to particular again. I never use form, just to let any of you know. We're going to go to 0, change this to a value of 1,000. Go to 7 seconds. Sounds random, but you'll see why in a second. Go to box. We're going to do the same settings, 5,000, 5,000, and 5,000. We're going to go to particle now. We're going to change the size to 10. Size random to 100. Opacity random to 100. All that looks good. The life we're going to keep the same. However, we're going to change the size over life preset to this preset. Looks like goes up all the way down. And then we're going to do the same thing for the opacity over life. We're going to do that exact same preset. Now we're going to go to the rendering tab. We're going to go to motion blur. Change this to on. Change the opacity boost to maybe a number from like 3 to 5. We'll do 4 because it's in the middle. For your physics tab, go to value of -300 for gravity. For your air, you're going to go into the turbulence field, and you're going to change the effect position to a number like 50. So that way, when they go upwards, it's all random. Okay, also one more thing. So I did the Alt left square bracket at 7 seconds. We're going to go here, do the same thing for this one. So if I was to play this, you have particles like this. Actually, it looks like it's a little bit too much in the turbulence here. What if I change to a scale of like 100? How would this do? It's still kind of weird. What changes to 2? Like that. Still does the same thing. Okay. Maybe 10. Okay, I guess 10 works. So 110, that's what I changed. So now I have these settings. Sorry guys, unless you like the other thing I did, then there's no problem there. But yeah. Also, just to explain what happens for a particular, and the reason why I cut it to 7 seconds. Basically, anywhere before 7 seconds is where the particles will rise very slowly and then it'll get very fast. Well, if you go to 7 and you go from there, it's a constant rate. I prefer the constant rate over just like slowly going up and then going there really fast. So, I don't know, that's just my own preference. If you guys are too lazy to do that, then do whatever you want to do, but something very simple. Next thing we're gonna do the fancy particles that I use all the time. It's something I've used ever since like I figured out how to do it. I mean, I've known how to do this for quite a while. It's just I never did it this simple. But this is such a simple process that I figure I'd just teach you guys. For your particle here, you're gonna go to your size of real life, change the preset to diagonal like that, and then you're gonna go to your opacity of life and do the exact same. After this one, you're gonna keep your life for 3 seconds. All that's good. We're actually gonna go back to the emitter and we're gonna go here. We're gonna alt click on both position XY and position Z. We're gonna go to this tab and I'm gonna type in something, either that or you can do another effect. Now what I mean by this is you can go into the expression language menu and this is how we're gonna do the effect. If you want to do it simply, just type in wiggle 1 and then like a number from 1000 to 2000. I prefer 1000. And then do the same here. And there you go. As you can see, you have some nice movement of the particles. Now, if you wanted to do multiple, what I'd recommend is copying and pasting, obviously. Go to the particular tab, go back to the emitter tab. For some, you know how these look like they're in the same position? I don't really like that. So I'll change this to a negative value for both, and then it'll actually look like they're both in different positions. So I think that looks a lot better. So if I was to play this, just like that, I'd say that looks pretty good. And yeah. Now, this is something I'm going to get asked a lot, and it's probably the form settings, because there's only one thing of form I did, and that was a while ago. But I'm going to teach you guys form just because it's a simple thing to do. We're going to go to form, like just drop go to form. It's going to be like this. Base form is going to be down there. Change this to 0, 0. Change all these values, obviously to the favorite number of mine, 5000. We're going to change particles in X and Y to 200 for both. We're going to go into disperse and twist, change both of these to 3. We're going to go into now the form tab, particle, change the size to 3, change the size random to 100. Actually no, change this to a number like 20. Let's see, next thing we're going to do for fractal field, this is where like all the magic happens basically in this setting tab. Change the size to 6 and the opacity to 6, you'll have this effect. Change the displace to 300. Then go here to F scale, change this to 3, and then change your complexity to 2. That still kind of weird. Change this to a number like 0.2. Oh wait, let's actually make it bigger. Make this a number like 1. Make this a number like 0.2. No. 0. No. Even bigger. 0.7. 1. That's probably fine. But I'm gonna change this to a number like 200 instead. Alright, that looks a little bit better. Also another thing I'll do, a lot of people don't know about the visibility tab. Basically it'll add a depth of field and it'll make it so you can only see it past a certain distance. So for example in the visibility tab, if I was to type in a number like 5000 and 0, you'd see it has like a little bit of a fade. I don't do it for the beginning, these bottom two, but 5000 and 0 looks pretty nice. If you want to add more effects, things I'd recommend would probably be things like S-Glow. Sapphire glows are very, very nice for this kind of stuff. And if you want to change your particles, there will be another color thing I'm going to do later on. So for example, what if I wanted to have like a reddish kind of particle? We'll do something like that. Looks pretty nice. Change the size to a number lower than 20, so make it like 18. Let's see. Now let's add some rays. Just simple rays, looks pretty good. The rays color we're gonna change immediately, like right as we can see this. Actually no, I don't even think it came up. No, we're gonna do edge rays, that's what I mean. Yeah, okay, that looks better. I was like, what the hell's going on? So we're gonna change this to a size of 0.1. We're gonna change the brightness to 1, and then we're gonna change the color to something like that. Actually, we're gonna change this to even lower. There it is. 0.25. Yeah, it looks a lot better. Okay, so 0.25 works. Looks like that. Looks pretty cool. Another thing I like to do one of my favorite things, vector blur. We're gonna actually do some settings, just mess around with it. So I'm gonna do something maybe like 20, 30. Check this out, 90. It's all about messing with this stuff. Change this to maybe 0.5. No. Perhaps softness. Try 100. Heck yeah. Actually, that doesn't look like that. So I'm gonna put edge rays over top vector blur, just so that way it has like a little bit more of a nice effect. If you want to add some more cool effects, go to 4 color gradient, and you can mess around with some colors. For example, if I was to do something like this, I'll do the colors used in the wavy lights, for example. Like I'll use this color scheme, and then I'll go to a hue value, and then I'll change it, something like that. I'm probably gonna go to even more of a blue like that. I'm gonna make this more of a purple, and then I'm gonna make this like a pink. Alright. And then if I was also to add some sort of color correction on it, make it look pretty nice. For example, if I added the particles back, all that stuff, and the smoke, got some really fancy looking stuff here. Usually this is stuff I'll use, especially whilst I'm making my intros. I think this is stuff that probably benefit a lot of you guys in terms of the design field. This is something very easy that a lot of people can, I guess, learn. It's all about creativity and just thinking about things that people haven't used yet and stuff. So yeah, I think all this looks pretty good. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys did enjoy this tutorial, sure to leave a like on this video. Sure to share it with friends and stuff. And yeah, talk to you guys later.